2023년 주식시장은 불확실성이 굉장히 크죠. 투자 전문가들도 올해 주식시장 전망을 제각각 다른 목소리로 내고 있어요. 저희가 이번에 인터뷰한 짐 로저스는요, 1970년대 최악의 주식시장에서 무려 10년간 4,200%의 수익률을 낸 퀀텀 펀드의 창립자이면서 동시에 올해 투자시장을 굉장히 부정적으로 보는 비관론자이기도 하죠. 저희 넘버스에서 짐 로저스가 왜 올해 주식시장을 안 좋게 보는지, 또 최근까지 강세였던 달러의 향배는 어떻게 될지 등 짐 로저스의 인사이트를 들려드립니다. 인터뷰는 저희 넘버스 팀 최경미 기자가 담당했습니다.
So how would you compare the current market situation to how things were back then? And would you say that this is the worst bear market of your life?
So far, no, this is certainly not the worst bear market of my life yet. It could turn into, I expect it to turn into eventually the worst bear market of my life. If you remember in 2008, 2009, we had a big bear market because of too much debt. Well, since 2009, the debt everywhere, especially in the US, has skyrocketed. So the next bear market has to be the worst in my lifetime because the debt has gone up so very, very much everywhere. I mean, even China has debt now. China did not have debt 25 years ago. So the next one has to be very bad. I guess the main difference is that the world has printed much more money in recent years than happened in the 70s. Yes, there was a lot of money printing in the 70s, but since then, oh my gosh, every central bank in the world has printed staggering amounts of money. But that's one of the reasons we have this big inflation problem, but the inflation problem is going to get worse. So be worried.
You stated in an interview with ET Now that the recent market recovery will probably be the last rally. So can you kind of elaborate on why you're not so optimistic about the current market conditions in the US?
First, I hasten to tell you that I'm not a good market timer. So don't rely on me for anything, but certainly don't rely on me for market timing. But my feeling about this market in the US, I'll use the US, since it's the largest market. We've had the longest stock market, since 2009 with no major problem. That's the longest in American history. Now, maybe it's going to last 50 years. I don't know, but I know it's already overdue. Problems are overdue time-wise. The problem maybe have started. You've seen some problems in the last several months, weeks. So often something happens when there's a lot of pessimism, breaks the pessimism, causes a big rally. I have the view that that's going to happen again, that we may have a big rally in 2023, at least the beginning of 2023. But if we do, that will probably be the last time because we're well overdue for a new bear market now.
You mentioned the US dollar, and I saw in a previous interview where you describe it as a disaster going forward. So can you elaborate on what you meant there?
I certainly can, Ms. Choi. I mean, I don't like saying it. I'm an American. Obviously, we're all Americans. But I have to face facts. The United States is the largest debtor nation in the history of the world. And the debts get higher and higher every day. And Washington prints more and more money all the time. That is not a recipe for success and sound economy, sound currency in the long term. So that I worry about it. So many countries are now looking for something to compete with the US dollars for economic and political reasons. I don't know what it's going to be. I still own US dollars, as I explained, but I know something is going to come to compete with the US dollar in the future.
The commodity prices rallied last year with inflation, and the Rogers International Commodity Index, which of course you famously created in 1998, it rose 20% in the last year. What would be your top picks in commodities right now?
And I'm not buying anything right now, I'm watching again, as I said, but if I were buying something, I think the best opportunities would probably be in agriculture. Agriculture has been a disaster for a long time. I mean, the price of sugar is down 60, 70% from its all-time high. You know, the prices of some commodities on a historic basis are disastrous. Silver Silver's not agriculture, but silver is down over 50% from its all-time high. So some commodity prices are certainly historically reasonable. What I do is I look to see what's down a lot and start looking there to see if that's an opportunity. Maybe sugar's an opportunity. Maybe silver's an opportunity. And there are things happening in the world. I mean, it looks like we're all going to have electric cars, for instance. Well, electric cars use several times more copper and lead and lithium and commodities than gasoline cars, for instance. So there are things happening. Not many people have been opening lead mines in the last several years. So if the demand for copper and lead and things is going to go up because of technological changes in the world and their supply problems, there may be great opportunities. Just look at what's down. Don't do anything unless you know a lot about it. But if you know, then maybe you should invest.
I saw in an interview with a Chinese media outlet that you did last year, you said that you advised your children to buy Chinese stocks. And with the so-called new Cold War involving the G2 prolonging, do you think China will continue to be a promising market?
I expect China to be an extremely important country of the 21st century. And whenever an important market is down, there are often opportunities. If you had bought the United States market in 1923, you'd be very rich 50, 60, 70 years later. And that's my view of China. I'm not talking about investing in China now but as a hot tip or anything. I'm talking about the big sweep of history. And the 21st century, in my view, is going to be the century of China. And therefore, people should invest in China and know about China, because just as people should have known about the U.S. market in 1923, in 2023, we should know about China.
I understand that you haven't bought any kind of cryptocurrency. So what are the reasons behind that? And what would need to happen for you to change your stance? And have you ever regretted not buying Bitcoins?
I do not see a future of crypto. They're wonderful trading vehicles, and lots of people have traded them and made money. Lots of people have lost a lot of money. Many cryptocurrencies have already disappeared. My view is as long as they're just trading vehicles and they don't hurt anybody, who cares? Unfortunately, they're starting to hurt people. Governments don't like that. They like monopoly. They like control. They like to be in charge of everything. So my view is that when money becomes crypto money, it's going to be government money. Governments don't want to let other people compete with them. I'd like for us to be able to use anything, but the governments have the guns, and I don't have any guns. So I suspect that I am avoiding crypto money.
You stated in that interview that the stock market has welcomed a lot of new participants and they're betting on crazy stocks. So what would be your warning or advice to such new and aspiring investors?
And I've been doing this a long time, and it's not my first rodeo. Usually after a long period of a rising market, a bull market, new people come in. I mean, they call their friends and they say, oh, I found this new thing called the stock market, and it's so much fun, and you can make money, and it's easy. And they all get excited, and they jump in, and they tell all their friends, and bubbles develop, and it has always ended badly. I see that happening again. They always will. So I would urge people to be careful, do some homework, do some research, read some history. You'll see all this has happened before. And be very, very careful. Most important, I repeat, Ms. Joy, people should only invest in what they themselves know about, and then they will come through whatever happens.
What would be your number one advice to Korea to boost its competitiveness in the global economy?
My number one advice would be to open the 38th parallel, to open the DMZ. If you were open and friendly again, if you weren't shooting at each other, my view is that the Korean Peninsula would be an extremely exciting place, very exciting place, and with lots of prosperity for many people. You have very successful and rich neighbors, and if you would just open and trade and travel and do business together, Hanbando would be an extreme. probably the most exciting place in the world for, say, 10 or 20 years. You know, you have 80 million people, 90 million people right on the Chinese border. You have lots of disciplined labor, educated labor on both sides. No, you would have a very, very exciting place for 10 or 20 years. Now, and if you open up, people like me would come to Korea too. You know, foreigners would come to Korea if you made it open and accessible. Korea is not accessible in many ways. It's a wonderful country. I used to not pay too much attention to Korea, but now I realize, my gosh, this is a great place and it could be even better and more exciting. So please, change it and let people like me move to Korea. Not me, better people than me. Let smart people come to Korea if they want to and trade with anybody you want. And anybody could start a business.